The FBI, U.S. Marshals, SWAT teams, and local law enforcement raided a home in Fort Wayne a couple hours ago.
The morning silence in Jefferson, Georgia, was shattered like glass at exactly 4:30 a.m. What started as another quiet dawn in suburban America instantly transformed into something that looked more like a military operation than a police raid. Federal agents stormed through the darkness with the precision of a surgical strike, their coordinated movements backed by years of intelligence gathering and months of careful planning. This wasn't just another drug bust gone big. This was the moment American law enforcement decided to send an unmistakable message to one of the world's most dangerous criminal organizations. Picture this scene unfolding in real time. Armored vehicles roll down residential streets where families sleep peacefully in their beds. Tactical teams breach doors with explosive force, while helicopters circle overhead like mechanical vultures. The thunderous crack of flashbangs echoes through neighborhoods where children ride bicycles and elderly couples tend their gardens. But beneath this veneer of American normalcy, something far more sinister had been growing in the shadows for years. Operation Take Back America had finally begun, and what federal agents discovered would shake the very foundation of how we understand cartel infiltration on American soil. The scope of this criminal empire operating right under our noses was beyond anything law enforcement had previously encountered. We're talking about a sophisticated paramilitary network that had embedded itself so deeply into Georgia communities that neighbors had no idea they were living next door to international drug traffickers armed with military-grade weapons. The target wasn't some rundown crack house or abandoned warehouse. Federal agents surrounded what appeared to be an ordinary family home in a middle-class neighborhood, the kind of place where you'd expect to find soccer moms and weekend barbecues, not assault rifles and grenade launchers. But as FBI tactical teams prepared to breach the front door, they had no idea just how deep this rabbit hole would go. Inside that unassuming house, agents discovered what can only be described as a fortress disguised as suburban real estate. The kitchen table wasn't set for family dinners, but covered with plastic-wrapped bricks of cocaine and methamphetamine. Deadly powdered fentanyl sparkled on the floor like some twisted form of confetti. But the real shock came when they found the weapons cache hidden throughout the property. 26 firearms of various calibers and configurations were scattered through rooms that should have held children's toys and family photos. R-style rifles leaned against bedroom walls, handguns filled dresser drawers where most people keep their socks and underwear, and wedged beneath a workbench in what looked like an ordinary garage, federal agents made a discovery that would change everything about how they viewed this operation. A military-grade grenade launcher sat waiting like a sleeping dragon. This wasn't some modified hunting rifle or even an illegal machine gun. This was a weapon of war, designed to launch explosive projectiles that could level buildings and kill dozens of people in a single blast. The presence of such weaponry in a residential neighborhood represented a level of escalation that crossed every line between criminal activity and domestic terrorism. The air inside the house reeked of chemicals and gun oil, creating an atmosphere that felt more like a clandestine weapons laboratory than someone's home. Blueprint-style maps covered the walls, charting narcotics routes that snaked from deep inside Mexico all the way into the heart of Georgia. These weren't amateur sketches drawn by small-time dealers. They were professional, tactical planning documents that revealed a level of sophistication that rivaled military intelligence operations. Every surface seemed to hold evidence of a vast criminal conspiracy. Encrypted notes written in elaborate codes detailed payment schedules and delivery instructions. Anonymous phone numbers were scrawled on scraps of paper like some deadly phone book. Bank account information and cryptocurrency wallet addresses filled notebooks with the meticulous precision of a Fortune 500 company's accounting department. This was the cold, calculated infrastructure of a transnational criminal empire that had been operating with impunity for years. But the most chilling discovery wasn't any single weapon or document. It was the realization that this entire operation had been masterminded by a ghost. Intelligence files revealed that the network's leader was a 48-year-old phantom known only by his street name. This wasn't some loudmouthed street dealer looking to make a quick score. This was a former convict who had transformed himself into a tactical genius, someone who understood both the criminal underworld and the weaknesses of American law enforcement. His network hadn't simply crossed the border illegally. It had meticulously infiltrated American society at every level. Safe houses were hidden in plain sight, disguised as college rental properties that blended seamlessly into university neighborhoods. Couriers looked like ordinary delivery drivers, moving packages through suburban streets without raising any suspicion. Millions of dollars flowed through legitimate businesses, washing dirty cartel money through tire shops, cafes, and real estate offices that appeared completely normal to casual observers. The scope of this infiltration was breathtaking in its audacity. Just blocks from the University of Georgia campus, cartel operatives had been conducting business beneath security cameras that recorded their every movement. Yet they remained invisible to both law enforcement and the academic community that surrounded them. Students walked to class while drug dealers coordinated million-dollar shipments. Professors delivered lectures while cartel soldiers planned their next operations. For years, this silent army had lived among ordinary American families. They attended community events, shopped at local grocery stores, and participated in the daily routines of suburban life. Every friendly wave from a neighbor could have been covering a criminal conspiracy. Every casual conversation at the gas station might have been between a college student and an international drug trafficker. The psychological impact of this revelation extended far beyond the immediate arrests. What made this discovery even more terrifying was the realization that this wasn't an isolated cell operating independently. Wiretap intelligence revealed a sophisticated command structure that connected directly back to cartel leadership in Mexico. Orders flowed from criminal headquarters thousands of miles away to operatives living in Georgia subdivisions. The speed and precision of these communications rivaled those of legitimate international corporations. The financial infrastructure supporting this network was equally impressive. Money laundering operations moved hundreds of thousands of dollars through complex webs of shell corporations and offshore accounts. Gold bullion served as a preferred method for converting drug profits into portable wealth that could cross international borders without detection. The mathematical precision of these financial operations suggested involvement by individuals with advanced degrees in accounting and finance. But Operation Take Back America was just beginning to reveal the true scope of what federal agents were dealing with. As tactical teams secured the primary target location, intelligence analysts were already coordinating additional raids across multiple counties. The network they had discovered wasn't limited to a single house or even a single city. It stretched across state lines and connected to criminal organizations operating from coast to coast. The evidence collected from that first raid painted a picture of criminal sophistication that challenged every assumption about how drug cartels operate on American soil. This wasn't a foreign invasion in the traditional sense. It was something far more insidious and potentially more dangerous. It was a complete infiltration of American society by a criminal organization that understood our weaknesses better than we understood their capabilities. The magnitude of what federal agents had uncovered became crystal clear as the sun began to rise over Jefferson. This wasn't just one house or one criminal cell. Intelligence gathered from seized phones and encrypted communications revealed a spider web of operations that stretched far beyond what anyone had initially imagined. Within hours of the first raid, 13 federal and state agencies were mobilizing for what would become one of the largest coordinated law enforcement operations in Georgia's history. The precision was surgical. At exactly the same moment across 3 different doors in cities, tactical teams Bree Athens, Atlanta, and Jefferson. The timing wasn't coincidental. Years of surveillance had taught investigators that cartel networks communicate constantly, and any delay between raids would have given remaining operatives time to destroy evidence, flee the country, or worse, retaliate against law enforcement personnel and their families. What they found in each location defied every expectation about organized crime in America. These weren't desperate criminals operating out of abandoned buildings or rundown neighborhoods. These were sophisticated business operations hidden behind legitimate facades in middle-class communities. One location yielded meticulously maintained ledgers, documenting nearly $1 million in transactions, recorded with the precision of a certified public accountant. The financial complexity was staggering. Federal investigators discovered that the network had established an intricate web of shell companies designed to launder massive quantities of drug money through seemingly legitimate businesses. A tire shop that hadn't sold a single tire in 2 years somehow processed nearly $1 million in cash transactions every single week. The money flowed through a sophisticated network of Chinese shadow banking operations that made traditional money laundering look primitive by comparison. But the most shocking discovery came from the communications intercepts. Burner phones seized during the raids were still receiving frantic messages from coordinators in Mexico. The cartel's command structure remained active and operational, even as their American network crumbled around them. Messages referenced internal codenames and operational procedures that chilled federal investigators to their core. The enemy had been so deeply embedded in American society that they had somehow intercepted federal intelligence about the upcoming raids. Codenames that should have been known only to task force commanders were appearing in cartel communications. The implications were terrifying. Either there was a security breach at the highest levels of law enforcement, or the cartel's intelligence gathering capabilities were far more sophisticated than anyone had realized. Evidence teams working through seized computers and digital storage devices uncovered the true scope of the cartel's American operations. Financial records showed that this single network had been responsible for moving over $1 billion in drug proceeds through Georgia alone. The scale was almost incomprehensible. We're talking about a criminal enterprise that generated more revenue than many legitimate Fortune 500 companies. The weapons discoveries at each raid location painted an equally disturbing picture. This wasn't just about drugs anymore. The cartel had been systematically arming its American operatives with military-grade weaponry. Beyond the grenade launcher that had shocked investigators at the first location, additional raids yielded enough firearms to equip a small army. High-powered rifles, tactical shotguns, and enough ammunition to sustain a prolonged armed conflict. Operation Take Back America proved that when federal agencies unite with unwavering determination, even the most sophisticated criminal organizations can be dismantled. But it also exposed the uncomfortable truth that this battle for America's security is far from over. The cartels have declared war on American soil, embedding themselves in our communities with military precision and unlimited resources. The question isn't whether they'll try again. It's whether we'll be ready when they do.